Good evening, everyone. Stephen Payne here, and tonight I have the pleasure of interviewing a very special guest. Now, just to give some background, this guy has built a top 1% website in the world for international living. He's ranked at the top 100 affiliate marketers in the USA. He's a national director for a social commerce company and the number 5 rep in the nation. And he has done over 65 million in online sales since 1996 with no employees. And over 200 top internet marketers have come to his farm for training events and masterminds. This evening, it's my pleasure to introduce Tom McMurrain. Thanks very much for being here, Tom. I really appreciate your time. Now, just before we get started, if what I've already mentioned wasn't enough, could you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I don't know where you got all that stuff, but boy, you sure did make me sound good now. Yeah, people laugh. It's like the internet marketing was around in 1996 and internet publishing, and I have a few years on me. I jokingly tell everybody I published my first blog before WordPress was even created. We were posting on Netscape Composer was our first blogs that we ever wrote, and it's pretty interesting to see the market really over the last 20 years really hasn't changed. It still boils down to content creates conversations and conversations creates conversions, and that's really one of the arts to internet marketing is just creating dialogue with people and getting people engaged in a conversation just as you would if they walked into a retail store. But yeah, my introduction, like I said, I've worked at home. I have launched probably a dozen network marketing companies in the last 20 years. I started with National Safety Associates at age 17 years old. I lied on my application, told them I was 18, so they would let me buy $5,000 worth of water filters. And I learned from some great mentors. One of the keys to my success has really been surrounding myself with the right people like Hubert Humphrey and Bill Gold and just some great trainers. Kirby Wright and Cindy Wright were great trainers for me. There's just some awesome people out there that I've trained under. Rich Stolley. I could name off probably 50 people that have impacted my life when it comes to internet marketing. But at the end of the day, it's been one of my mentors said, variety may be the spice of life, but it takes monotony to finance it. And internet marketing can be very monotonous. You just do the same thing over and over and over and over. And, you build a list, and the bigger your list gets, the more successful you can become in online marketing and anything you do. And, just creating value in people's lives. But I think what I have done over the last 20 years is it's been a focus to create awareness and create value in people's lives, and that's, I think, been two of the major keys to the success that I've had. But nothing really to add outside of that, except for it's been a long journey. It's been an enjoyable journey. It's amazing how many sources of information we can share on, from Tumblr to Twitter to Pinterest to now some of the newer ones like Periscope and Patreon, and just there's so many platforms out there that make our life so much easier than like we did in the very beginning, where we wrote an ebook and we downloaded it on a bulletin board and collected email addresses for everybody who wanted it and mailed it out manually. I love the internet marketing space, and I'm excited about OneCoin and what we're doing here today, and look forward to answering your questions.
Sure. Yeah, so I was going to get into that. We're here to talk about a company called OneCoin. So how did you learn about OneCoin, and sort of what made you decide to get involved?
Well, I've never really been a fan of the federal monetary system, in the U.S. I've seen, I've struggled with it because it seems, I hate to say it, but it seems like a big Ponzi scheme to me. They just keep printing money, and I guess I'm more concerned because I have kids, and I hate seeing what they're headed into, and into this pile of debt that's been created that has to be paid off by somebody. And it led me to research Bitcoin. I wanted to know what Bitcoin was. I wanted to have a plan B. I wanted to have an alternative to the federal currency system, like in the United States. I wanted to be able to, I mean, you look at what's going on in Greece right now and Puerto Rico potentially, golly, a lot of people there are wishing they had a plan B right now. And there are plan Bs out there in place, but the governments do a really great job of, telling people they don't need to do that kind of stuff, that they'll take care of them. And so I saw Bitcoin. I bought into Bitcoin early on, actually did really well with it, made enough money to buy a new car with the gains that I earned from Bitcoin. And when this came along, OneCoin was introduced to me by a friend, and I thought it was one of those poker chip companies where they're just printing, tokens left and right and no accountability, and it wasn't really a cryptocurrency. And then I had another friend email me, and he said, "Tom, have you seen the new cryptocurrency, OneCoin?" And I emailed him back and I said, "It's not a cryptocurrency." And he emailed me back and he said, "Yes, it is." And that's when it got my attention. And that was back in May, 1st of May. And I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive. Of course, it had the standard negative stuff on the internet about it because it was a new company, and you've got your typical publications out there that just want to bash anything so they can get internet traffic. It's a pretty interesting marketing technique that's used online that's fairly effective. Most of those guys I've met, they've never really been successful at anything except for bashing companies. But I did my research. I read between the lines. It was at 211,000 people at the time, and I was like, that's pretty impressive numbers for a company that's only 7 months old. And I remember telling my wife, I said, this thing could be bigger than Bitcoin by the end of the year at the rate they're going. Bitcoin had about 250,000 active members at the time, and like 2 weeks later, 40,000 people joined the company, and I was like, good Lord. I mean, that was unbelievable. I've never seen 40,000 people join any company in 2 weeks. And so it got my attention. I jumped on board. We bought our first Tycoon package. About a week later, we bought a second one. And, I just saw the price of the coin started going up, and I was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. 60 days later, we own 5 Tycoon packages, and we have over 400 people on our team. It's really incredible how quickly it's growing, and the company is at 434,000 people, 433,000 people. So it's doubled in size since I've been involved. And I'd like to wish that I was a huge part of that doubling, but with a team of 400 people, it's hard to take credit for that. But it's really amazing how it's growing, and I just love cryptocurrency. I love digital currency. I love the idea of creating a culture of freedom. I love the fact that you're in the UK and I'm here in the United States, and that we could actually transact business in seconds with OneCoin, without all of the bank fees and the PayPal fees and all of that. Outside of the banking system, you and I can actually transact business, and that to me is very, very exciting. And with the big community that we have, there's going to be millions of us around the world using OneCoin as a form of currency. So that's what got me attracted to it. And I know a lot about the industry. I love Bitcoin, by the way. I have a Coinbase account. I use it. So I'm not anti-Bitcoin at all. I love digital currency.
Right. Okay. Well, that brings me on nicely to the next question, which just for the people who don't know out there, what exactly is OneCoin?
Well, if I can use a couple analogies, if I'm speaking to people in the UK, I'm hoping PayPal is a good enough example. PayPal is there any other that are like PayPal that would be a good comparison?
No, I think everyone will know PayPal.
PayPal's good. Well, PayPal, interestingly enough, when it first started off, everybody thought it was a scam too. To wire money to an international company, or hook up an international your bank account to an international company so you could send money via email addresses. That was really very cutting edge, and it scared a lot of people in the beginning until they started using it and said, wow, this is really cool. But PayPal is a fully integrated payment platform where you can send and receive money, where you can put money in your account, take money out of your account. You can get a credit card. You can get a merchant account. So it's a fully integrated financial platform. And so what we're doing is we're kind of creating the PayPal of digital currency. And that's my easiest example to say that we're using, instead of using fiat-based currency, dollars, euros, francs, what have you, we're using digital currency instead of as our medium of exchange. And so, you know, when I talk to people, whether you think it was Western Union or what, we've developed a mechanism where you can log in, set up your account in minutes, put in your financial information, whatever you need to. You can acquire coins, you know, through our system. It has a built-in exchange. It has a built-in mining operation. Everything's all in one, and you have the ability to transact business with digital currency. You have a plan B in less than 5 minutes of setting up your business. And if your country or if anything were to happen catastrophic, you would be able to log into your back office, and if you have currency there, you'd be able to transact business. And I mean, you look at, I remember, you know, when the new Greek president announced that, hey, we may just take on Bitcoin, and I remember seeing the price on Bitcoin jump a little bit because you know, there's a lot of people right now that wish they could transact business, but right now they can't because of the mandates from the government to shut the banks down and only distribute a little bit amount of money every day. And that's got to be very painful. I saw some horrible articles coming out of Greece already. And I can tell you this, you will never, ever catch me in that situation after seeing that. So that's really what OneCoin is. It's a community of people that are building a culture of freedom outside of the traditional banking system. We don't want to be tied to that scenario. We don't want to be tied to those banking fees. We don't want to be tied to all the ridiculous regulations. You know, in the United States, now they've just passed part of our FACTA law that the bank is required to call the police to notify the authorities if you take out more than 5,000 cash. So that's like, oh my God, you know, what's going on here? So having the ability to be able to transfer money back and forth without people snitching on you and telling on you, it's, to me, that's one of the reasons, the benefits of OneCoin is, you know, we control the currency system. We have the ability to control it.
Yeah, sure. And Tom, what sort of people are being attracted to OneCoin, and who's joining the opportunity?
You know, we're seeing a lot of men. I look at my statistics all the time, and it's 75% men. But I will say this: the women, the minute they see it, they are the ones that talk their husbands into going to our tycoon level and getting in because they see the potential of not only creating wealth, but they know that the other women of the households really control the checkbooks and understand where they are financially. So we're seeing a lot of very strong women leaders come on. Financial services people, I'm getting a lot of those. It's a mix. I mean, I have marketers, surfers in Australia. I have you know, a guy, another surfer up in Norway. I don't know if you surf in Norway, but I guess you can. But he looks like a surfer. I can tell you that. What's that?
So you got a surfer stuck here in the UK where there's not many waves.
I got a surfer stuck in the UK, so maybe I'm getting a whole bunch of surfers. I don't know. But it really is it's a cross of people. I have just been sharing it with people, and my main way of sharing it is, did you miss the opportunity of Bitcoin? Did you miss that stratospheric rise from 10 cents to $1,203? And I think the people who are getting involved are, number one, they want to create wealth. Number two, they want more time in their life. Number three, you know, they may have missed Bitcoin and they see that this is Bitcoin 2.0. This is going to be much bigger than Bitcoin. And so they're opportunity minded, you know. I don't have a lot of fear mongers of people that think the government's going to collapse. I've got a couple of them in my organization that are going around saying the sky is falling, but that's not my style. I don't think the sky is falling. I think, you know, we could be faced with some challenging times, but if you're prepared for it, you know, the sky's not falling. just give you an opportunity to live better, and I like that with OneCoin.
For sure. So that's pretty much anyone is getting involved. You know, a broad variety of people
Yeah, but it is
Not much
70% men. I will say it's 70% men. I do know that, and it is funny enough, it's the 45 to 60-year-old group that are getting involved first. But I do believe once college is back in session and the college kids get a hold of this thing, I think college campuses are going to scream. I think the kids see they can get in for 500 euros, they can get in for 100 euros, and they can actually start making money sharing it with other kids. College campuses are going to go berserk with this.
Wow.
Because they get it. I mean, they know what digital currency is. I spent the phone today. I was on the phone today with a 71-year-old guy who, for the first time in his life, learned about digital currencies, and he was interested. And you know what he said? The reason I'm interested is because I know that's what the millennials, the 82 million kids in the United States, he goes,
Yeah.
I know they already know this stuff, and that means I need to know it. He was 71 years old, and he said that. And I was blown away. He had watched all my videos, and he was sharp as a tack. He was definitely on his numbers.
Brilliant. Right, so just leads me on. So if we were in an elevator, you and I've never heard of OneCoin, and we get on the 20th floor, and you've got 5 or 1 minute is about, what would you say to me?
First, I mean, usually I just, when I'm talking to people, I look for an opening. So if you said, I hate going to my job or something like that, I probably would talk to you after I have an opening. But typically my approach is, would you be interested in making, more money or having more free time? And I rarely have anybody that says no to me. I mean, some people may walk away, but you have to understand, I really have never done face-to-face. I do everything via private messages. So typically I send it via private message. I say, hey Stephen, would you be interested in, making more money and enjoying more time with your family? Or maybe I've seen you post something on Facebook that was a little bit negative. I might find an opening, and then I'll send that little message. Typically, I always get a yes back. And then the minute I get a yes, I say, well, do yourself a favor, take 9 minutes and invest it in listening to this recording. And if you're interested, get back to me. And I do probably about 15 of those a day. I find opportunities. I have a virtual assistant who also does it for me, but I'm always looking for opportunities to send that message to people. Are you interested in making more money? Are you interested in having more time in your life? And I usually always get a yes. I mean, people usually most of them are sarcastic. It's like, yo, what do you think? But that's my opening. And if I only had a minute to spare, and you said yes, and say, well, here's my 800 number, take a listen to this and get back to me if you're interested. So I've got little business cards made up. I don't do a lot of face-to-face. In fact, out of the 130 people I've enrolled, I've only met one of them face-to-face. And out of my team that I have, I've only met one of them face-to-face out of the 400 people that I have. So it brings up an interesting point about our business. It is truly a work from home business. A lot of companies say, oh, work from home, this is a work from home business, but you're out in rush hour traffic doing milkshake parties and skin treatments and delivering product and going to hotel meetings and stuff like that. And people just, I mean, they might as well, I mean, people will quit their 40-hour job and they'll get a 100-hour job doing network marketing, driving all over town, going to Starbucks, going to McDonald's, to do all these meetings. I don't do that. I do mine right here from the comfort of my home. This is my home office, and this is where I stay. I live on 300 acres out in the middle of nowhere. So really, to go anywhere, it's an hour round trip for me. So if I got to go to the grocery store or drive into Atlanta's an hour and a half round trip for me. So if I had to go there for a hotel meeting 3 times a week with the rush hour traffic, I'd spend 10 hours a week of my life in the car. And I'm just not interested in that. So I do most of my my elevator pitches on private messages. And I have been criticized by some guru marketers who say it doesn't work. And I can tell you that the majority of the people I have enrolled have been sending private messages to people. So private messages do work. And if some guru tells you they don't, they're wrong. They do work.
Oh, brilliant. Well, Tom, I know you're a busy person, and I won't take too much of your time. But if I could ask you to leave us with one last golden nugget, what would that be?
Well, number one, get involved in OneCoin as quickly as you can. That's my big golden nugget. I waited a week on one package, and it probably, you know, when you look at it long term, it probably cost me about $40,000 or $50,000. So I would say immediately gain awareness of what we're doing as quickly as you can, and make a decision, pull the trigger, and then take massive action. But that's kind of that leads up to my golden nugget, and that is, when you do run a business like this, be sure to sell the franchise, not the hamburger. People are probably not going to get terribly excited about digital currency because most of them don't even know what it is. So it's kind of fearful for them until they actually learn about it. So I'm real big on selling the lifestyle. And as they say, you don't sell a McDonald's franchise by walking up and handing somebody a hamburger. You give them indigestion. That's, I mean, it's like, here, Stephen, here, eat this hamburger, and you'll want to buy one of these franchises for $1 million. And, you know, I hand you the hamburger, you eat it, you get indigestion, and you say, I'm not buying one of these things. That burger was terrible. And so when you think about how we do business, the reason people buy a McDonald's franchise is because they want to be a pillar in the community, because they want to be influential, because they want to sponsor sports teams. It's because they want to be president of the Chamber of Commerce. They want the benefits of owning a McDonald's. You know, they don't really want to be a hamburger salesperson. Okay. And when you acquire a McDonald's, you become a pillar in the community. So if I were to approach somebody about OneCoin, I would say, how would you like to have the free time with your family? How would you like to truly work at home? How would you like to see your retirement account multiply 25, 50, or 100 times over the next 3 to 5 years? How would you like to replenish everything that you've lost since 2008? How would you like to have the opportunity to have a plan B in case there was a big financial downturn and you and your family would still be safe? You know, how would you like to acquire gold through our program, Gold Crypto Coins, and have real gold as an asset in your portfolio and know that you've got a hedge against inflation? So I tell people that when you talk to people, definitely look for the benefits, definitely look for what they want. And that's very important. Don't go around trying selling, you know, pushing digital coins into people's pockets. They'll run from you. But if you tell them that digital coins will get them what they want out of life, they're more apt to listen to you. And to me, that's, they used to say, sell the sizzle, not the steak. And I think that's kind of a variation of my training, which is sell the franchise, sell how we do business. And then I'll leave that with I'll just kind of add one more caveat to that gold nugget. Again, I show people how we do business first before I tell them what the business is. I tell them, yeah, we have hangouts every night at 8:30 p.m. I introduce people. It's like the 71-year-old gentleman I told today. He goes, what's your system? And I said, we introduce people to a 9-minute call. If they like it, we put them on a 30-minute automated PowerPoint presentation that's online. And if they like that, then we do a 3-way call, or we just get them enrolled and get them on an orientation call. Our 3-way calls are not selling calls. They're purely orientation calls. This is how you get started. This is how you upgrade. So run a system and let the system run your business. That's what they teach you at McDonald's. Don't deviate from their system. And our system is very successful. We put over 12,000 people in another company in 100 days doing the same exact system. So it's very important. If you don't want to do the explaining, the training, and the enrolling, you'll love our system, because our system does all of that for you. So those are really the nuggets that I'll leave you with. I think they're some of the most important in this industry. Sell the benefits of what you're doing, and definitely run the system and let the system run your business. I learned that from Hubert Humphrey, one of my mentors, and it's served me very, very well in this business.
Sure. Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, Tom, and we'll leave it there.
That's my pleasure, man. Great interviewing. I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the near future. Maybe we can get you over for Vegas for the launch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, Tom. Bye.